You're listening to the My Simplified Life podcast, and this is episode number 335. Welcome to the My Simplified Life podcast, a place where you will learn that your past and even your present don't define your future. Regardless of what stage of life you're in, I want you to feel inspired and encouraged to pursue your dreams, simplify your life, and start taking action. I'm your host, Michelle Glogovac, author of How to Get On Podcasts, the podcast matchmaker, and CEO and founder of the MLG Collective. I'm excited to share the stories and life lessons of changemakers and authors with you while taking you on my own journey. This is My Simplified Life.
Hi, Michelle.
Good morning, Steph.
We are back.
We're back in our blue and white stripes.
We are. I've mentioned we should be in Nantucket. We should be on the beach somewhere, summering.
Yes, please.
I would love to summer somewhere. I don't know that I will ever be in a tax bracket to summer somewhere, but it sounds delightful.
Never say never.
Never say never. We're putting positive things out into the world.
I would like to summer somewhere. I would like to not only summer somewhere, but to also summer on a weekend somewhere. I want to own a summer. Does that make sense? So that I could just drive away for a weekend.
Want to own like a lake house. Okay, I love the ocean more, but lakes are great. And I would love like a summer lake house where you could just go and swim by the dock. Have you ever read any Carley Fortune novels?
No.
Okay. First,
I feel really bad. This goes back to what we were talking about the other day of the FOMO or the
right.
like the big names.
Yeah.
And there are a number that I have not read because I'm reading other books. So no,
that's okay.
I'm so sorry, okay. Carley. You are on my list.
That's okay. And there's no shame in that. You pick up the books that you need to do or you want to do. We talked about that last week. However, I will say her books are the most wonderful summer reads. So let me just walk you through them because I actually happen to have them right here. It's almost as if I
what a
knew
coincidence.
I wanted to talk about Carley or something. Okay. Her first book, Every Summer After. It is like a dual timeline of these two people who meet when they're young at a lake house they all take place in Canada. So of course now I want to move to Canada. I mean,
we all do right now
for a while. Yeah. But anyway, I also now really want to move to Canada. During COVID, I tried to convince my husband to move to Prince Edward Island, which is where Anne of Green Gables takes place. Did you watch those old Anne of Green Gables, like what I consider the best version with Megan Follows and Jonathan? No. Michelle,
I'm telling you, I'm a huge disappointment.
Okay, let's take a break. Pause on Carley. I need to talk to you about something. Okay. We just talked about there's no shame. You're not a disappointment. I just am curious.
What I do all day.
What stories made you fall in love with reading, or like what movies, or like what evoke like positive memories for you? Because you've told me that you always wanted to work with authors. Mm-hmm. What are the books that made you feel that way? Or made you fall in love with reading? We're taking it Audible. We're pulling an Audible. We'll talk about Carley in a second, but I want to know.
That's a good one because I grew up on the Babysitters Club. And
perfect.
I loved it because I identified as Christy. Yes. I wished that I was and now I'm blanking on the name, but the one who always had good outfits. Like I wished that was me, but I was like, yeah, that's not me. I wished I was Dawn with the blonde hair. And I was like,
Dawn.
No.
I think like a lot of us wanted to be Dawn. I'm not going to say everybody, but like I wanted to be Dawn with like the long blonde hair.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But I was very much Christy of organized. This is how it's going to be. I tried to start a Babysitters Club. One New Year's, I sent out flyers. I'm like, whoever wants your child dropped off, you can do it. Nobody dropped their kids off. And I was like, okay. Small town. But I was like, apparently I was a quote unquote entrepreneur. And I say quote unquote because I'm still like, I wouldn't call myself one today. And yet
I would.
I'm a business owner. I don't know. I think entrepreneurs invent things, that was the definition I grew up on.
Okay.
So that one I have a hard time wrapping my brain around. I own a
Okay.
business. That's how I see myself.
Okay. Yes, yes, yes.
Although I do have friends who didn't know about podcast pitching who think I invented it, which is so cute.
And you should let them think that. Yes, I did. I did invent that.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you. I did invent that.
But I'm trying to think of what other books, because there's just been so many.
As an adult, like thinking about it now, what are some of the books that evoke the most feeling in you besides the Babysitters Club? Like, or what books as an adult made you want to continue working with authors in your grown-up state?
I feel the pressure.
No, I mean it's
No,
there's no
like the
wrong
pressure
answer.
of to think about which ones, because there's something about each one that I pull out that sticks with me.
Okay.
Eh, like from memoirs that, let us see what somebody's gone through. I think those are so powerful no matter what the memoir is.
Yes.
Um, and I feel like somebody who opens up to let you know about certain parts of their life, and then
Mhm.
to have the opportunity to talk to them about it too.
Yeah, I love that. I love
That
that.
is so powerful. But then to also read books, like I just finished Our Last Vineyard Summer,
Ooh,
which
do you like that?
I loved it.
Was it
Oh
so
my
good?
gosh. It was so fantastic. And it
Was it
brings in,
dramatic?
I don't know that it was dramatic.
Okay.
But it brings in this level of politics.
Mm.
It
Oh yeah.
brings in
Yeah, you like that.
feminism.
Love that.
It's, 60s, 70s based. And
Yeah.
so you reflect back on what it was like. And then you think about what's going on today.
Yeah.
And like, to me, that was like, oh, okay, we get a glimpse, but it
Yeah.
also makes you think about what's going on now.
Right.
And I loved, by the time this airs, that episode, I think will have already been out. If not, it's okay. But Brooke Lee Foster says that she writes historical beach fiction.
I love that.
And I love that term, because even when we escape somewhere, life doesn't escape.
Right.
All
Yeah.
of the issues are still with us. And so that's what she brings to her books. And I think something like that is so powerful.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. And I love that whenever we're talking, you have all of these books that you're like, let me tell you about this one that changed my life. And you know exactly what the title was, who the author was, what the plot was, what you got out of it. And I'm like, the best book that,
I'm sorry. I'm putting you on the spot.
shit.
No, here's why we're really good together, Michelle. And I was actually talking to a friend about this last night, because we came from somewhat different perspectives in terms of I am very much like your fiction obsessed, stick my head in the sand, I just want to feel good feelings person, right? But you are my brave, heroic, reading the memoirs, doing the politics, knowing what's going on in the world. And I love it because I think both of us have like a wisdom about different things that we can like bounce off of each other, and then and I think it's really good. It's like a full bodied approach. But
We make one human
we make
being.
one human being. Here's the thing I need you to do though. I am going to need you to watch the Anne of Green Gables and Anne of Avonlea with Megan Follows and Jonathan Crombie. Okay. I don't know where
I
it is
will
available.
write this down.
Watch it with your daughter. Your son would probably like it too. I don't know what kind of movies he likes. Watch it with your daughter though. It is like a childhood class, not a child class, like a coming of age classic. And Anne is obsessed with reading. And she is just the most magical, wonderful person. And Matthew Cuthbert, the guy, a sister and brother adopt her in Prince Edward Island, and it's beautiful. And Matthew is my dad. Like he's so much like my dad with the sweet blue eyes, and it's just it's so good. I love those stories. So they made me want to move to Prince Edward Island. And during COVID, I told Dwayne we need to move to Prince Edward Island. Obviously, we didn't, but like in my head,
Unfortunately, yeah.
I haven't wanted to. I haven't stopped wanting to move to Canada since, But wait, Cooper, I'm filming. Okay, sorry.
We're totally leaving that in.
He is not wearing a shirt, which is fine. But like, also, I don't know that he wants that like out in the world. Okay. Okay. So back on track. Carley Fortune. This one is like these two people. Sam. Okay, I'm terrible about character names. Hang on. Sam and Percy, Sam and Percy. I'm really bad at character names. And they meet at Barry's Bay, which is an actual place in like outside of Toronto. I think like 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. I don't know. It's in Ontario. And it is this like lake resort place. And the author actually grew up there, like lived there for a while in this lake town in Ontario. And it's just so magical. Like they swim and they jump off the dock, and then some dramatic things happen, but like they reunite. It's like a second chance romance. It's so good. It's so, so, so good. So this was her first book. This is her most recent book, One Golden Summer. They go together. You need to read this one first. Every Summer After comes first. Then One Golden Couple got released this year. And it is Charlie's story. Charlie is Sam's brother. So there was Sam and Charlie and Percy.
Okay.
And it's all so good. I want to live in Barry's Bay. I want to be there. I want to be on the dock. I want to grow up just like being in the sun and the dock and lake life. It's what I want. Okay.
I'm taking notes just so you know.
Do it. Because they're such good escapes. Like they are full on escapes. Meet Me at the Lake this one takes place. This was her second novel. This one takes place at like a Dirty Dancing type resort in Canada.
Oh my gosh. As you were just talking, I was thinking Dirty Dancing, Catskills.
Yes. So it's in Canada, but it's like the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this girl's mom had run it for years. She didn't want to take over. Well, like the book starts, like her mom had passed away, left her the resort. So she's having to take over. Also, 10 years before, she had this one day with this guy she met, just walking around the city of Toronto, got to know him for full 24 hours. They promised to meet a year later. He never shows. 10 years later, she's here taking over mom's resort. He shows up as the consultant to help like get it back up on the ground. And like, so it's like, where were you? Lots of like sparks fly. Super good. My favorite of hers, they're all so good, is This Summer Will Be Different. This one takes place on Prince Edward Island. There are Anne of Green Gables references. It's about this couple. This is probably her steamiest book. This couple, like they meet and they hook up, and then they find out that, oh, like he's my best friend's brother, oopsie doopsies. And so they try to keep their distance, but every time they reunite each year, like there's a lot of chemistry. And then this is like, I think like 5 years after they first meet, so it flashes back, but it's so good. There's so many oysters. Like you just want to sit and eat all the oysters, and you want to live on Prince Edward Island. And she writes so immersively, like you just escape into this lake life, and you just, oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, this one's actually on the coast, so it's more like the bay and, like ocean, but she's just phenomenal. She's her and Annabelle Monaghan are my always summer reads.
As you were describing this one, I'm thinking of Annabelle's It's a Love Story last year, because that sounds very, it's my best friend, fall in love.
Favorite of her books.
Have you read her? No. Okay. This one's good too. Yeah, we've talked about that.
Yes, I'm behind on that one. And I'm going to Annabelle. I am going to. I love her books so much. I've loved all of her books. I still try to go out and watch the sunrise every morning because of Nora Goes Off Script, her first book. Because Nora would like arrange her day to go out and watch the sunrise every morning. It's like a little hard to do because I don't know where to look. Like if you're at the ocean, it's like fine, or wherever, like I don't, the sun rises in the east, sets in the west. So wherever you are east, like you're looking, if there's like scenery or something, it's a little easier to see the sunrise. But like just going out my front porch, it's like the neighborhood Walmart's down yonder, right? And then I'm like, do I look at the sun? I don't think I'm supposed to look at the sun, but I'm like, where? So I haven't figured that out yet. Okay, it's going to make me sound very blonde and idiotic, but I don't know how to fully sit and capture the sunrise. Sunsets, easy peasy, right? Like,
yeah, you just watch it come down.
Just watch it come down. But the sunrise, I'm like, this is so good. But I still try like every morning.
Oh
anyway,
this is beautiful.
So those are my summer reads. Those are my favorite summer reads. If you want to escape, Carley Fortune, Annabelle Monaghan, they will take you away. And like, but hers are like, I want to live on a lake. I want to live on a lake, and I want my boys to grow up on a lake, and I want my boys to have summer lake romances, like good ones, not like douchey ones, but like,
Yeah.
just like I want them to have all of that, and I want to just like jump in the water and swim, and I don't know. That'd be amazing. So this is what I'm putting out into the world, manifesting
I
this
love
life.
it. I love it.
This is what we
Carly,
want.
come join us.
And maybe Jonathan Bailey will be our neighbor, and then that's the life.
I saw that. I saw your little, like, can we greet everybody?
I love him. I mean, but I'm not alone. Everybody loves him. He's just one of a kind. Okay, so I've read some other books lately, but they're quite a turn from these.
But
These
that's
are similar.
good. I think that's the spice of life.
Right. And I will say this about myself. I will read anything. As we discussed in like our first episode, I'm a bit of a book slut. Like I will
Yeah.
read anything. And I'm like, wow, this is
We
so
need
good.
to make a shirt that says that.
Yes. Obviously there are many books I read that I'm like, this wasn't great. Right. So I don't love every single book I read. But I love a lot of them. And I usually can find something that I love about each book that I read.
Yeah.
A recent release by one of my very favorite authors. This one's really fun, but totally different than those. This is A Most Puzzling Murder by Bianca Murray. She wrote If You Want to Make God Laugh and Hum If You Don't Know the Words, I believe. And then she also wrote a witchy novel a couple of years ago. But she grew up in apartheid Africa, and so South Africa. And so she wrote those first two books are about that area. And so then she's kind of taken a genre shift. And this is very interactive. It's darker. It's definitely like dark magic. It's like this eerie, it's actually called Eerie Island, but it's like an eerie island where this dark magical family reigns, and there's all these secrets. But the fun thing about this is there's lots of puzzles, interactive puzzles that you pause and like you give an opportunity to decipher them if you want. Now you don't have to. You can keep going and you just can go to the answers. Some I paused and solved. Some I was like, I don't have the brain space for that one. Really creative, but definitely deals more with like kind of like the darker magic, and then like this family trying to fix the darkness that had kind of become part of their magical line. And anyway, it's really, really good. Just like a fun mystery, like really captivating, fun, but definitely not a light beach. Like this isn't going to make you crave summer, right? This is like, but I just love her. She's fantastic. She's also Canadian. So there's a theme here. Okay. And now we're going to get into my grief books.
I love that you have all of these piled up and you were like, oh, I'm ready to go. And just
I'm
so everybody
ready.
knows, like, I did not know this was happening. So I don't have I do have a stack of books, but they're
I
not
told her
the
5 minutes
ones.
before we started, I have books I want to talk about. And she was very generously was like, okay, you can do that.
And I love that you collected them and have them sitting with you. You were like, this is what I'm going to speak about
I'm ready
today.
I'm ready.
Yes.
Another really good mystery that is actually coming out next Tuesday is Lisa Jewell. I love her. It's called Don't Let Him In. And I want you to read that book, and then I want to talk about it because I feel like I actually know somebody that is very similar to the bad guy in that book, which is alarming, but it's really, really good. The audiobook is phenomenal. Richard Armitage, who is one of my very, very favorite audiobook narrators, he's also an actor. He narrates a lot of like Alice Feeney. His voice lends really well toward like mysteries, and he's like the main guy in this book. And then it also has Joanne Froggatt, who's from Downton Abbey, and Louise Brealey, who's been in just like different British things, like the Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch. And anyway, it's really good. It is phenomenally narrated. And it's like all these layers of this guy who like has all these different lives, and like basically all of his, hens are coming to roost. What's the phrase? Like
I think that's right. Right. Yeah.
he's about to be in a world of trouble because all his little lines and life he's created is about to he's a pathological liar. It's fascinating. So really, really good. That comes out next Tuesday. And then I've spoken about Nikki Ehrlich several times, I think, on this podcast because I love her so much. Jenna discovered her, our beloved Jenna Bush-Hager, with The Measure. This is actually the new deluxe edition. Isn't it beautiful?
I saw your reel. Yeah.
Isn't it like beautiful? It's gold. It's so lovely.
If anyone wants to send me some beautiful gold books,
William Morrow, thank you so much.
I'm happy to give you my address.
Yeah, I was thrilled. I don't actually get a lot of book mail anymore. I buy a lot of my books. But they sent me this and I am beyond thrilled because The Measure is one of my top 5 favorite books of all time. She writes speculative fiction. I think I told you about this before. You said you felt like it was a little too close to home, but I think you would love it because what Nikki Ehrlich does is she creates a situation that feels very real, that could be real, that evokes a lot of thought, evokes a lot of feelings, but then walks you through it to a place where you're like, I could survive that, or that's really beautiful. Like at the end of the day, what you come away from this book feeling is this deep appreciation for the value of a life, regardless of how short it may have been, and I think, as many of you know, one of my dear friends who I actually call Anne with an E from Anne of Green Gables, because she has red hair and she's magical and fantastic. Her 11-year-old daughter just passed away from cancer, brain cancer recently. And grief has been on my heart constantly. I didn't know this little girl personally. I've watched her grow up over the years through my friend, but thinking of that horrific grief and what that looks like, but just seeing the impact that this beautiful, magical little girl had just with her kindness and her curiosity and the way she just loved life and just continued to make her bed as she was dying of cancer, like just a phenomenal little girl. And the impact of that life was so worth every second of it, and that's what you come away with from The Measure. It's so, so, so good. One of my favorite books of all time. The audiobook's narrated by Julia Whalen, which is, again, one of my favorite narrators. So you really can't go wrong. Whichever way you want to read it, it's really, really good. And then she hasn't written anything since The Measure. That was her debut, which... how that's a debut, I will never know. I mean, it's just phenomenal. Not that debuts are bad, but like this thing came fully formed into the world. Like that was a full-term baby, Some debuts I feel like we're a little preemie, but it's good. We're going to grow into something great. But that one was like, we are past 40 weeks and this is a thriving child. Anyway, I'm getting weird with my metaphors, but we're just going to keep
makes the sophomore novel even more pressure.
Yes. And I am not an author, but I cannot even imagine that pressure of knocking it out of the park, your first round out of the gate, but loving to write. And so not wanting to stop writing, but then like that pressure of that sophomore novel. Oh, I have a special place in my heart for authors releasing their sophomore novels because even though I haven't done it, I feel like that would be really hard. So yes. Well, she did it. She knocked it out of the park again with The Poppy Fields. This book released this last Tuesday, and it's very Wizard of Oz-y, which I love. I mean, kind of. It's these 4 people who meet up and they essentially go on this road trip, but there's lots of little nods to the Wizard of Oz because they're like 4 people and a dog. They're in a yellow car going west to find and they meet in Kansas with a tornado. So there's some similarities, but ultimately what it's about is grief. And there's this place called the Poppy Fields, which this scientist created to help people grieving sleep for either a month or 2 months at a time. They basically go into this like coma-like state. And basically the goal is when they wake up, they will be feeling better about their grief. They will still miss the person. Their work's not done, but they will be able to breathe again and be able to like get back to life kind of. And so they filter through, certain people. They did say they don't tend to take on like a lot of the harder cases, like a parent outliving a child, just because not every type of grief is something this could help with. But there's a debate among the 4 people going whether it's valid, whether it's okay. There's a lot of controversy, like stop the sleep. This isn't okay. They were very forthright about the fact that they discovered that 1 in every 4 patients wake up with a side effect, which means you feel no emotion toward the person you were grieving. You wake up and you may have memories, but it's basically like same as somebody you knew 30 years ago and barely think about. And so that's really heartbreaking. So then there's do you take the risk of, trying to sleep to feel better, knowing you could wake up and like lose all the feelings you once had for that person? Anyway, it's really, really good. Each of these 4 people are grieving in their own way and are heading to the poppy fields for different reasons. And well, one of them's not going to the poppy fields at all. She's just this free spirit who's like along for the ride, and she's great. But 3 of them are going to the poppy fields, and they each learn along the way something that they really need about their grief journey. And it's different, I think, than what they anticipated. And one of the most powerful parts is at the end. She's talking about how like the hardest thing to do is to love somebody and to know that you could lose them, like that they had done something really hard in choosing to love somebody, and they had done something by loving someone. They changed the lives and the lives of the people that they loved. Anyway, I thought this paragraph was really good. Ellis is the doctor who created the
Poppy fields.
poppy fields. There are no spoilers in this paragraph, but it just says, Ellis looked at all the spouses and siblings and children and parents and friends asleep. There was so much love inside of this strange looking room. It didn't appear like the love in the movies, the love and the kiss between newlyweds as all the onlookers cheer, the love in the parents' tearful eyes as they hold their swaddled baby, the love in the secret handshake performed between childhood best friends. This was the other side of love. This was the aftermath, the cost, the opposite of end of the bargain. This was the dirty, damp confetti and trampled flower petals stamped into the muddy ground and tossed about by the wind long after the parade had ended. This was the sad, lonely echo in the hall now that the dance was over. Here in this room was grief, but grief was love in its second shape. And so good. It's so beautiful. Really, really, a lot of really good thoughts on how to like press through, like how to live through grief, and I loved it. It's short, narrated by Miranda Ireland, who's another one of my very favorite audio. So you can't go wrong with this one either.
I love that you know all of the names of audiobook narrators.
Well, I think all my books with.
But how often does that happen? You hear people who are like this author, but how often are we crediting the audiobook narrators?
That's a big deal for me because they're doing the Lord's work out there. Excuse me, my throat. They are, the old-timey audiobooks. I know we have to wrap up soon. I have one more book I want to talk about. We may
do it.
That for next. Should I talk about it now?
Do it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is The Bright Years. I came across this book because I actually was commissioned to make a pie. And as we say here, we read the damn book. And the reason I agreed to take this commission on before reading the book is because she had told me who the editors of the book were, and the premise sounded really good. And I was like, okay, I'm going to love this book. I could just tell from the outset I was going to love it. And I did. I finished this yesterday. It's told in 3 different perspectives. 4 generations of people basically navigating alcoholism and grief and just life. I wept and wept and wept in this book, but it was so beautiful. It was redemptive. It was healing. It's one of those books you finish and you think, I could handle hard things that come at me. I don't want them to. It's not a book that makes you fear hard things. It makes you feel like, okay, I could get through this too, And one of the things I loved the most about this book is the way she portrays alcoholism and the battle with alcohol is very multifaceted, and I think honoring to those battling that disease. And they're not just one person, and no one's reaction is the same to someone battling it. And everybody has a different journey with that, and it looks different for each person.
Mm-hmm.
And she's very honest and raw about like, that's not okay. And like, there are damages and you do, reap what you sow, in a sense of, if, hurting your family and different things like that. But there's a humanity to the struggle. I love when a book's well written when you see that person in their full three-dimensional shape, like you see who they are, and not just like a character on a page that's like, oop, bad guy, alcoholic,
Yeah.
there's so many elements to it. And there's a lot of complications in loving somebody that's an alcoholic. And that's not something I have personal experience with. So I can't speak to the authenticity of it, but as someone reading it, it felt very honoring and beautifully layered in like what that would look like, and like a family struggling with those things. And it's heartbreaking, but also so beautifully redemptive. Just like a really great novel about family. So I am shocked it's not one of the big book club picks. Like, it's so good.
Maybe we need to create our own
We
book
need to
club
create our own book
list.
club. I know. She writes. I need to go back through this book and like, because I listened to it as I do. I need to go back through and highlight my favorite parts, because there are so many quotes in this book that I was like, that just took my breath away. The way she writes is phenomenal. So I think it was a book of the month pick, but it's like an add-on. But like this, the Bright Years by Sarah Damoff needs to be on your list. If, obviously trigger warnings noting that if you have an alcoholic as a parent or a spouse, like it could be triggering. But I also think it would also be very beautifully acknowledging of that journey and how complicated that love is, because you don't just stop loving somebody because they battle with a disease or they battle with an addiction. And it really, really beautiful. So good. I cried so much yesterday, Michelle. I just cried all day listening to it. But like, they were good tears. They were good tears. And you'd be proud of me, because in novels like this, I get emotionally stressed and I'm like, what's going to happen to these people? And I want to look ahead. But I didn't, because I didn't have the physical book with me at the time. But also because I didn't want to ruin the story. And I'm glad I didn't, because there were moments that shocked me. It was so impactful.
I didn't know that you're a cheater reader.
I read the book, but I may also like know the end. I will never read the end of a thriller. Okay. I will never read the end of a thriller. I think it's my anxiety about like feeling hard things. I think I get stressed about it. And so I'm like, I need to know what I'm in for. And then it dulls the emotional impact. Well, the problem with that is then it dulls the emotional impact, and that you need to read it in the way the author intended, because books are supposed to have their full impact. So I am learning the error of my ways. I am a reformed cheater reader. I am working on it really hard. Okay. I am in recovery for that. Not to make light of actual addiction, but I am trying to get over my anxiety and like jump in and just let the author take me on the journey that they want, without like peeking and being like, do they end up together? Does this person die? Because I get really
That's so funny, because that thought doesn't even occur to me, to read the end first or cheat or.
Well, no one should do that. Sometimes we get a little stressed out. So
I'm feeling a little stressed out because I now have a list that I've been writing since you're talking, and I have a lot more books to read. So
you do, but take them at your own pace. Like whenever you're feeling like, if I was going to prioritize one, I would prioritize probably the summer Blake reads, because it's summertime, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the Bright Years and Bianca Murray and even Nikki Ehrlich's novels, they can be read at any time in the year and be deeply impactful, But I think there's something special about reading like summer books.
Yeah.
During the summer. So,
agreed. Yes. Yeah. I love it. Thank you for
Those
sharing all of your books
You're
with
welcome.
us.
You're welcome.
Oh my goodness. Everybody go update your TBR list.
Exactly. There's more where that came from.